Hello and Shabbat Tov, and welcome back to another weekly Parsha reading. So I'm doing this live again because last week I forgot the right book and ended up delaying my whole Parsha reading a week, and kind of experimented to do a live version of this Parsha reading and asked some of you guys who have been joining week by week if you have a strong preference or if it kind of works out just fine for you guys to see me do this as a live stream rather than an edited video. And you guys gave me some positive feedback that this was a-okay. And I think actually last week my video did a little bit better, even though I didn't really optimize it or put in tags and such. So I think that's a good sign that this Parsha reading can perhaps continue on as a live stream. So I'm continuing the experiment, but again, if you have a strong preference for the more edited version, the horizontal version, let me know, and I'll definitely take your feedback into consideration and maybe go back to the edited version. Hello. All right, and I'm, as kind of an ongoing part of this experiment, I'm also streaming this a little bit later in the day, trying to catch people also in the US hours, so I thought maybe that might help reach different people. So this week we're on Parashat Vayera, which is the second Parsha of the book of Shemot. And I think I'm just going to dive into the Parsha reading today. I've usually been sharing different thoughts or ideas or different snippets from like various books, and including the commentary here, but I'm a little bit unprepared, to be honest, this week. So I'm just going to dive into the reading, and I hope you guys read along, study along, and enjoy Parashat Vayera. God spoke to Moshe and said to him, I am God. I revealed myself to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov with the name Almighty God, El Shaddai, but with my true name, Yud-Keh Vav-Keh, Havaye, I did not become known to them. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their temporary residence in which they lived as strangers. I also heard the moans of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians are holding as slaves, and I remembered my covenant. Therefore say to the children of Israel, I am God, and I will take you out from under the burdens of Egypt, and I'll save you from their labor, and I'll redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great acts of judgment. I'll take you as a people for myself, and I will be a God to you, and you will know that I am God, your God, who is taking you out from under the burdens of Egypt. And I'll bring you to the land regarding which I raised my hand, swearing to give it to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, and I'll give it to you as a heritage. I am God. Moshe related this to the children of Israel, but they did not listen to Moshe due to shortness of breath and hard labor. God spoke to Moshe, saying, Come, speak to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, that he should send the children of Israel from his land. Moshe spoke before God, saying, If the children of Israel did not listen to me, then how will Pharaoh listen to me? I have sealed lips. God spoke to Moshe and Aaron, and he commanded them about the children of Israel and about Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to take the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. The following are the heads of their fathers' families. The sons of Reuven, Yisrael's firstborn, Chanok, Phalu, Hetzron, and Carmi. These are the families of Reuven. The sons of Shimon, Yemuel, Yamin, Ohad, Yachin, Zohar, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman. These are the families of Shimon. These are the names of Levi's sons in order of their birth, Gershon, Kehot, and Merari. The years of Levi's life were 137 years. The sons of Gershon were Livni and Shimi, according to their families. The sons of Kehot were Amram, Yitzchar, Hebron, and Utziel. The years of Kehot's life were 133 years. The sons of Merari were Machli and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites in order of their birth. Amram took Yocheved, his aunt, as a wife for himself, and she bore him Aharon and Moshe. The years of Amram's life were 137 years. The sons of Yitzchar were Korach, Nepheg, and Zichri. The sons of Uziel were Mishael, Edsaphan, and Sitri. Aharon took Elisheva, the daughter of Aminadav, the sister of Nachshon, as a wife for himself. She bore him Nadav and Avihu, Eleazar and Itamar. The sons of Korach were Atir, Elkanah, and Aviasaph. These are the families of the Korachites. Eleazar the son of Aaron took one of the daughters of Putiel for himself as wife, and she bore him Pinchas. The above are the heads of the fathers of the Levites, according to their families. It was the above mentioned Aaron and Moshe to whom God said, "Take the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt according to their tribal legions." They are the ones who followed their instructions to speak to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to take out the children of Israel from Egypt. Both Moshe and Aaron completed this mission together. It was on the day when God spoke to Moshe in the land of Egypt. God spoke to Moshe, saying, "I am God. Tell over to Pharaoh everything that I speak to you." Moshe said before God, "But I have sealed lips. How will Pharaoh possibly listen to me?" God said to Moshe, "See, I have made you a master of plagues and torture over Pharaoh. Aaron, your brother, will be your interpreter. You should first say all my commands to Pharaoh, and Aaron, your brother, will then explain to Pharaoh that he should send the children of Israel out of his land. I will harden Pharaoh's heart in order that I should increase my miracles and wonders in the land of Egypt. Pharaoh will not listen to you. I will lay my hand upon Egypt to strike them, and I will take my legions, my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt with great acts of judgment. When I stretch forth my hand over Egypt, the Egyptians shall know that I am God, and I will take the children of Israel out from among them." Moshe and Aaron did this. They did what God commanded them. Moshe was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. God spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, "When Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, 'Prove yourselves as emissaries of a higher power with a miracle,' you shall say to Aaron, 'Take your staff and cast it in front of Pharaoh. It will become a snake.'" Moshe and Aaron came to Pharaoh, and they did exactly as God had commanded. Aaron cast his staff in front of Pharaoh and in front of his servants, and it became a snake. Pharaoh also summoned sages and magicians, and they, the sorcerers of Egypt, did the same thing with their spells. Each one of them cast down his staff, and they became snakes. Aaron's staff then reverted back from a snake to a staff and swallowed their staffs. Pharaoh's heart became hardened, and he did not listen to them, just as God had said. God said to Moshe, "Pharaoh's heart is heavy. He refuses to send the people out. Go to Pharaoh in the morning when he goes out to the water, and stand opposite him on the bank of the Nile. Take in your hand the staff that turned into a snake. Say to him, 'God, the God of the Hebrews, sent me to you, saying, Send away my people, so that they may serve me in the desert.' Up to this point you have not listened, so God is now saying, 'With this you will know that I am God. With the staff that is in my hand, I'm going to hit the water that is in the Nile, and it will turn to blood. The fish that are in the Nile will die, and the Nile will become foul-smelling. The Egyptians will become weary from trying to find a way to drink water from the Nile.' God said to Moshe, 'Say to Aaron, take your staff and extend your hand over the waters of Egypt, over the rivers, over their canals, over their ponds, and over all their bodies of water, and they will become blood. There will be blood throughout the entire land of Egypt, even in wood vessels and in stone vessels.' Moshe and Aaron did exactly as God had commanded. He raised a staff and struck the water that was in the Nile before the eyes of Pharaoh and before the eyes of his servants, and all the water that was in the Nile turned to blood. The fish life that was in the Nile died, and the Nile stank. The Egyptians could not drink the water from the Nile. There was blood throughout the entire land of Egypt. The sorcerers of Egypt did the same thing with their spells. This caused Pharaoh's heart to become hardened, and he did not listen to them as God had said. Pharaoh turned around and went home. He didn't take either miracle to heart. All the Egyptians dug around the Nile for water to drink, since they could not drink from the water of the Nile. 7 days were completed after God had struck the Nile. God said to Moshe, "Come to Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what God said, let my people go so that they may serve me. But if you refuse to let them go, I will strike all your territories with frogs. The Nile will swarm with frogs, and they will go up from the river and come into your house, into your bedroom, upon your bed, into the house of your servants and of your people, into your ovens and into your kneading bowls. The frogs will go up into the intestines of you, your people, and all your servants.'" God said to Moshe, "Say to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your staff over the rivers, over the canals, and over the ponds, and make the frogs come up over the land of Egypt." Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frog came upon, which multiplied and covered the land of Egypt. The sorcerers did the same thing with their spells, and they brought up the frogs over the land of Egypt. Pharaoh summoned Moshe and Aaron and said, "Plead to God that he remove the frogs away from me and from my people, and I will send out the people of Israel so that they may sacrifice to God." Moshe said to Pharaoh, Give me a challenge. Tell me when I should plead for you, for your servants and for your people, for the frogs to be eliminated from you and from your houses, leaving them only in the Nile." Pharaoh said, "Plead today for the frogs to be eliminated tomorrow." Moshe said, "It will be as you say, in order that you should know that there is none like God, our God. The frogs will depart from you and from your houses and from your servants and from your people. They will remain only in the Nile." Moshe and Aaron went out from Pharaoh's presence, and immediately Moshe cried out to God about the frogs that he had brought upon Pharaoh. God acted according to Moshe's word, and the frogs within the houses, the courtyards, and the fields died. They gathered them into many heaps, and the land stank. Pharaoh saw that there was relief. He continued to harden his heart, and he did not listen to them as God had said. God said to Moshe, "Say to Aaron, stretch out your staff and hit the earth of the land, and it will become lice throughout the entire land of Egypt." They did this. Aaron stretched forth his hand with his staff and struck the earth of the land, and the creeping mass of lice was upon man and beast. Throughout all Egypt, the earth of the land turned into lice. The sorcerers did the same thing with their spells, trying to create lice from another place, but they were unable to do so. The lice were upon man and beast. The sorcerers said to Pharaoh, "It is the finger of God and not witchcraft." However, Pharaoh's heart became hardened, and he did not listen to them, as God had said. God said to Moshe, "Get up early in the morning and stand yourself before Pharaoh when he goes out to the water. Say to him, 'This is what God said. Let my people go out and serve me. For if you do not let my people go, then I will incite a mixture of harmful beasts, snakes, and scorpions against you, your servants, your people, and your houses. The houses of Egypt and the land on which they stand will be filled with a mixture of harmful beasts, snakes, and scorpions. On that day I will set apart the land of Goshen where my people remain, so that there will not be any harmful beasts there, in order that you know that I am God, and my decrees are held upon earth. I will bring about salvation from this plague for my people, which will set apart my people and your people. This miracle will occur tomorrow." God did this, and a heavy mixture of harmful beasts, snakes, and scorpions came to Pharaoh's house and his servant's house and throughout the entire land of Egypt. The land was destroyed because of the mixture of harmful beasts, snakes, and scorpions. Pharaoh summoned Moshe and Aaron, and he said, "Go and slaughter to your God, but do it in this land." Moshe said, "It would not be appropriate to do that, for we will be sacrificing the deity of the Egyptians to our God, as if we could sacrifice the deity of the Egyptians before their eyes, and they wouldn't stone us. Let us go for a 3-day journey into the desert and sacrifice to God, our God, as he is going to tell us." Pharaoh said, "I will send you out in order to sacrifice to God, your God, in the desert, on the condition that you do not go too far away. Plead with him on my behalf." Moshe said, I am going away from you, and I will plead with God. The mixture of harmful beasts will depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. Only Pharaoh should not continue to act in a manner of ridicule by not sending the people to go and sacrifice to God. Moshe left Pharaoh's presence and pleaded with God. God acted in accordance with Moshe's word. He removed the mixture of harmful beasts from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. Not a single one remained. Pharaoh hardened his heart this time too, and he did not send the people away. God said to Moshe, "Come to Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what God, the God of the Hebrews, said. Let my people go that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let them go and you continue to hold on to them, behold, the hand of God will place a very severe epidemic upon your livestock that is in the field, upon the horses, upon the donkeys, upon the camels, upon the cattle, and upon the sheep. God will separate between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and not one animal belonging to a Jew will die.' God set an appointed time, saying, 'Tomorrow God will do this thing in the land.' The following day God did this thing, and all the livestock of the Egyptians died, but from the cattle of the children of Israel not one died. Pharaoh sent messengers, and lo and behold, not even one of the cattle of Israel had died. Pharaoh's heart became hardened, and he did not send his people away. God said to Moshe and Aaron, "Take for yourselves a double handful of furnace soot, and Moshe shall throw it towards the heaven in front of Pharaoh's eyes. It will become dust upon the entire land of Egypt, and it will become boils, breaking out into blisters upon man and upon beast throughout the entire land of Egypt." They took furnace soot, and they stood before Pharaoh. Moshe threw it towards heaven, and then boils broke out into blisters on man and beast. The sorcerers could not stand before Moshe due to the boils, for the boils are upon the sorcerers and on all Egypt. God strengthened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not listen to them, as God had said to Moshe. God said to Moshe, "Rise early in the morning and stand in front of Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what God, the God of the Hebrews, said. Let my people go so that they may worship me, because this time I'm sending a plague equivalent to all my plagues upon your heart, upon your servants and your people, in order that you know that there is none like me in the entire earth. For now I could have stretched out my hand and smitten you and your people with an epidemic, and you would have been annihilated from the earth. But for the following reason I have kept you alive, in order to show you my strength and thus declare my name over all the earth. If you still tread upon my people, not sending them out, then I'm going to rain down a very heavy hail at this time tomorrow, the likes of which have never occurred in Egypt from the day it was founded until now. Now send, gather in your livestock and all that you have in the field. The hail shall fall on any man or beast that is found in the field and not brought into the house, and they will die. Whoever feared the word of God among Pharaoh's servants drove his servants and his livestock into the houses. But whoever did not pay attention to the word of God left his servants and his livestock in the fields. God said to Moshe, "Stretch out your hand towards heaven, and hail will be upon the entire land of Egypt, upon man, beast, and all the vegetation of the field in the land of Egypt." So Moshe stretched forth his staff towards heaven, and God gave forth thunder and hail, and fire came down to the earth, and God rained down hail upon the land of Egypt. There was hail and fire blazing inside the hail. It was very heavy, the likes of which had never been throughout the entire land of Egypt since it had become a nation. Throughout the entire land of Egypt, the hail struck all that was in the field, man and beast, all the vegetation of the field, and it broke all the trees of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. Pharaoh sent messengers and summoned Moshe and Aaron. He said to them, "I have sinned this time. God is a righteous one. I and my people are the wicked ones. Plead with God and let God's thunder and hail, which he has already sent down, be enough. I will send you away, and you shall not continue to remain here." Moshe said to him, "When I leave the city, I will spread my hands to God. The thunder will cease, and there will be no more hail, in order that you should know that the land belongs to God. I know that you and your servants still do not fear God, the Almighty God. The flax and the barley have been broken, since the barley was ripe, and the flax was hard in its stalk. But the wheat and the spelt, however, have not been broken, because they ripen late." Moshe went away from Pharaoh out of the city, and he spread out his hands to God. The thunder and the hail ceased, and the rain did not reach the earth. Pharaoh saw that the rain, the hail, and the thunder had ceased. He continued to sin and hardened his heart, both he and his servants. Pharaoh's heart became strong, and he did not let the children of Israel go out, as God had said through Moshe. And that's it for Parashat Vayera. Thank you for coming back and sticking with me and experiencing yet another live stream version of the Parsha reading, which has been quite a bit more convenient for me too. Let me just catch up on my messages. Hi everyone. What book is that? Says Milena Kellen. So this is the Gutnick edition Chumash. It's a Chabad commentary translation, and I actually have the set which has each of the 5 books in separate volumes, but they also come in like a single volume set. I highly recommend it. This is my first year reading from this edition, and I think it's really great. So I hope you pick it up and enjoy it. What I really like about this, so it has the Lubavitch Rebbe's commentary in addition to all the like classical commentaries, and then it has these really nice little sections that say like sparks of Chassidut, and there's just really interesting insights. So I really like this edition. Hi Shanki. The book is Torah, I think. Oh, so more specifically, the Chumash is the Jewish Bible. It's the 5 books of Moses. So you have the first 5 books, and then our Jewish Bible includes additional writings, but like this is what we refer to as the written Torah. So this is the first book of the Torah, or I'm sorry, we're on the second book of the Torah. We're on the book of Exodus, which is called Shemot in Hebrew. But it looks like some of you guys answered for me, so thank you. Milena says she gonna read this all. So yeah, not the whole thing. What we do is we read a different parsha, so a different section of the Torah each week. So all the Jewish people read the same Parsha, the same section of the Torah. So we're on like an annual cycle, which is really cool. And it's a really awesome way to learn and study the Torah, because it also really just connects you to the entire community. So this is what I've been doing. I've been doing it for a few years now. And this year I started, I started reading from this edition, but I also started a new practice of actually reading the Torah in Hebrew with one section per day. I've been doing the Hebrew reading for a few years now, I think, but doing it like section by section every day. So like today I read the first Aliyah, which is the first section of this Parsha, this portion. So it like really breaks down into different sections. But in any case, I start off each week by reading the entire section of the Torah reading, the Parsha, in English, so I have a full sense of the entire story. And then I'm also doing my daily study, breaking down that Torah portion into each section and learning it in Hebrew. That was really a mouthful, and I hope that made sense. If you're not coming from a Jewish background, I hope that made sense to you. This channel belongs to a Jewish convert. You don't know this, says Roth. Milena, I'm glad you joined. It sounds like you're kind of new here, so that's really cool. I'm really excited, especially with these Parsha readings. I have kind of a variety of different videos on this channel, but I think this has been the most rewarding thing, sharing these Parsha readings on my channel, because it's so cool to be able to share something meaningful, substantial. And I've had people say that they're not necessarily learning like Torah or hearing the Parsha throughout the week, so this might be your only exposure to it. And I hope this encourages you to be all the more exposed to reading the weekly Parsha. But if this is what you're getting, then I'm so grateful that I'm able to share it with you guys. Happy Sunday. Oh, it looks like this Millen, she just had signed off. Okay. Chris says, Bible's so beautiful, not beautiful the word, but why did you get it? I really want a Bible, I need one. Okay, is this a Christian channel or Jewish? This is a Jewish channel. Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing. Much continued success with your cubes. Thank you, Isaac. I'm almost done with my 40 cubes, so B'ezrat Hashem, I'll finish through. So anyway, guys, thank you so much again for joining me for this weekly Parsha reading. I hope you guys have a Shavua Tov, and I hope you have a beautiful, healthy, joyful week ahead. Bye, guys. Lice.